Greetings, LifeSpring family. Pastor John here. It's hard to believe that we have had 12 weeks of online services. Can you believe that? I want to take a moment and thank our newly created online team, Pastor Crystal and my sons, Brett, Derek, Nathan, and Ryan. They have worked incredibly hard in order to make online church happen, and I think happen well. I also want to thank Andy and her husband Jeff for faithfully leading worship these past 12 weeks. And finally, I'd like to thank our leadership team for their commitment to weekly phone calls, cards, and for meeting throughout this entire time. I want to thank you. You've been faithful to attend, to invite, and to give. I believe our church has remained strong and continues to care for others. I'm proud for your fighting off of selfishness and frustration and fear. You know, we've learned a lot through this pandemic time. I pray that we never again take meeting together for granted. For many of you, this has been an opportunity to recalibrate priorities and schedules. And I trust that the lessons that you have learned during this season are lasting. Now we're moving into our first phase of the reopening process. This phase is going to require patience, flexibility, and a willingness to sacrifice for others. In the book of Ephesians, Paul writes in chapter number 4, verses 2 and 3, and he says this: "Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace." And I believe that these verses will be the ones that guide us through the coming back together process. Here are a few things that the leadership team and I have put in order for us to be able to meet again safely. Number one, our sanctuary has been reset to allow for social distancing. We've measured in observing social distancing guidelines. There's 6 feet between rows and sections to allow for family units to be able to sit together. As you can imagine, it means that our capacity has been greatly reduced, and we are now able to accommodate approximately 70 people in each service. During this initial time, we will be having our main service on Sunday mornings, our men's ministry meetings, and our women's ministry meetings. There will be no kids' ministry activities or services, no seniors lunch, no Wednesday night Bible study, and no life groups. We will continue our Tuesday Devos and our Thursday night Zoom calls. Now, I understand that I just said that there will not be any kids' ministry. I also understand that this means that your kids are going to be sitting with you during the morning service. Please do not stress about that. I understand there's going to be a little bit more noise and a little bit more activity that happens during the service. Guess what? I think that's awesome. I would much rather have the noise of our kids in our service with us than no noise at all. If you have an under 3-year-old child that maybe becomes a little discontent or begins being too loud for your comfort, I want you to know that our parents' room will be available to you. We're also excited to announce to you that we now have a nursing mother's room. For those of you that attended our church prior to the church doors being closed, Wendy's office is now our nursing mother's room. We're very excited about the addition of this to be able to accommodate moms with newborns. Number 3 is during this phase of reopening, we will be having 2 Sunday morning services. These services will be held at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Sunday mornings. The purpose of 2 services is to accommodate as many people in the church and community to be in the building who are comfortable while still creating an atmosphere of safety for each person. These services are going to be identical in format and content. The same music will be played and sung. The same message will be preached. The leadership team and I will be evaluating this new setup every 2 weeks, and we'll be making adjustments accordingly. To help ensure that you have a place to sit, we're going to be sending out an email and posting a link on our Facebook page that will allow you to sign up for which service you and your family will be attending. Please click the link and register for the service that you wish to attend. Only sign up for one time per service per family. You'll be able to enter the number of family members who will be attending with you. And when a service is full, we will no longer accept registrations for that service. For those people in our congregation or who may catch wind of this or receive the letter that we're going to be mailing out, and you don't have email or social media, we will be calling you next week and asking your service preference. Number 5, the church doors will be open about 10 minutes before each service begins. When you arrive, we're going to ask that you wait in your car until either 8:50 for the 9 o'clock service or 10:50 for the 11 o'clock service. When the sanctuary doors are open, you will be invited to enter in. We're going to encourage you to socially distance yourself if you need to wait in line while waiting to enter into the building. When you do enter the building, you're going to be greeted by our hospitality team, and then you will be escorted to a seating area for you and your family. We will be seating people or families from the front of the sanctuary to the back. I know what this means. This means that you may not be able to sit where you always sit. However, I think what is going to happen is this. It's going to give you and I a great opportunity to practice being flexible. Think of it this way. You may very well enjoy experiencing the morning service from a different point of view. After the service is over, we are going to dismiss people to ensure a quick and safe exit from the building. You're going to be directed by someone from the hospitality team on when and how to exit. And we'll be dismissing each person or family at the end of the service from the back of the sanctuary to the front. We have a number of safety measures that will be put in place per the CDC guidelines. Please know that these are not done as a result of fear. Instead, we are doing our due diligence to protect everyone who attends LifeSpring. Our motivation is not fear, but love for those in our community and our church family. And let me share some of those new safety measures that we have put in place. First, to prevent the spread of infection, we are asking everyone to wear a face mask out of love for one another. We recognize that some of you, for medical reasons, have been instructed not to wear a face mask, and we certainly respect that. Second, our fellowship room, the kitchen area, and all kids' classrooms will be closed. That includes the coffee area and any places where people tend to congregate and have those times of conversation. Before every service, the sanctuary, the seating area, and all high-touch surfaces will be disinfected. We will only allow people in the room after those procedures are complete. There will be 2 hand sanitizing stations in the sanctuary. Please feel free to use them as often as you would like or as often as you need to. We will not be wiping down bathrooms after each use, but we will provide Clorox wipe on the bathroom counters if you would like to use them. Our welcome table will not be utilized during this initial phase of reopening, and we will not be distributing any bulletins or printed materials. Offering envelopes will be placed, 1 per each cluster of chairs. And at the end of the service, any extras will be removed and disposed of, and new ones laid out for the next service. The leadership team and those who are serving on Sunday mornings, for example, the hospitality team, those who are working in sound and video, and even those who are serving in the worship team, will be wearing masks. Again, this decision has been made because we feel the best way that we can love you is to ensure that we are doing everything that we can to ensure your safety and peace of mind. We are asking that those who have been giving online will continue to give online. We will not be taking up a regular offering or even having a meet and greet time when the church doors do open. There's going to be an offering box that is going to be here in the sanctuary for those of you that want to continue to give through a check or a tithe envelope. But if you are comfortable in giving online and you have been doing that, we're going to ask that you'll continue to give online once the church doors are open. Finally, we're not going to be shaking hands, giving hugs or high fives once we regather. Instead, we're going to ask that you wave, smile, and offer a hello. And that, I think, will be most appropriate for us. I'd like to say a couple of other things before we end this video. If you're a high-risk group because of your age, maybe you have some underlying health conditions, maybe you have small children and you are not comfortable in bringing them into a public context like this, or maybe you yourself, you're just not ready to return to public gatherings, then we want you to know that we respect that. And we just want to encourage you to continue to watching online and being part of the morning services that way. Listen, there's no judgment if you're not ready to return. While we certainly would love to see all of you in person, we want to love and respect your thoughts, your feelings, and your comfort level. I know there's a lot of mixed emotions right now in our country pertaining to public gatherings. And we want to be open. Some want to be open. Others believe that everything should be closed. And so here's how the church is approaching this. We're going to respect the thoughts and the preferences of others and not make anyone feel lesser or non-spiritual because they have a different approach. And I want to encourage each one of us to be practicing that. Listen, attending church in person is not a sign that you're more mature, godlier, or more committed person than one who chooses to stay at home. Staying at home does not make you smarter or more caring than the person who attends. And this same principle is being applied for whether or not someone attends church with or without a mask. We do not know the reasons that people have and the decisions that have helped guided their process. And so we just want you to know that we respect you and we're asking that you respect others. You've done a beautiful job of loving and caring for one another over the last 12 weeks. I want to encourage you to continue that same attitude of love and concern as we transition into another new way of doing church. We're not going to be the social distancing or mask police, but we are going to encourage each one of you to follow the guidelines that we have laid out out of love for one another. I look forward to worshiping with you soon. In the meantime, I want you to know that we love you and we miss you. Make sure that you join us tomorrow, Sunday, June 14th at 10:30 a.m. as we continue to do church online. And if you're comfortable, we'll be excited to see you in person on Sunday, June 21st. And if you're not, continue to join us online until you are. God bless you. Take care. And at some point, we'll see you soon. Blessings.